Hi! So this video is long overdue. Originally I planned to make this video about Royal High and how the devs can be dismissive of cultures and sometimes hands down racist. I'm talking about Colin. But I feel like that video is just a bit too early to make. There's a lot more information coming out weekly about Colin and what he did and what he's doing. So I think that topic deserves a separate Colin video, which is just too early to make. I might make a deep dive someday, maybe, if I'm still interested at the time, but definitely not now. So instead, I'll just rant about Royal High, like the closet, the accessories in the game, and the 10 billion problems I have with them. Fun! Okay, so first of all, I will start with the most obvious point and the point I made in my original script about the racism thing, the cherry blossom set. So in spring of 2020, Royal High released a set made by Ready the Teddy, pronouns she, her, which was called Spring Cherry Blossom. It's a massive air quotations kimono, or, well, a very artistic way to look at a kimono. Also, the set is absolutely stunning. I do get the idea as if the artist, Ready the Teddy, or the concept designer, whoever was responsible for the design, didn't research kimonos too much before making the set. To confirm my thoughts, I went on Google and searched up information about kimonos, and here are some issues I found with the Royal High interpretation of it. Quick disclaimer, I am a Ukrainian man, I'm Slavic, never been to Japan, so this is just like based on my research. If you're Japanese or if you're more familiar with Japanese culture, I do really want you to leave a comment if I said something wrong, missed something. I do want to learn and, you know, be more knowledgeable on such subjects. Okay, so back to the points. Point number one, the hair clips are Chinese hairpins. No, according to Wikipedia, they're called JI, so it's like G, I think, hairpins. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so probably butchered it. G hairpins. Japanese women, they wear like other head accessories. Usually they're like little flower hair clips, from my understanding. Definitely don't look like these sticks that hold buns, like hair buns. So that's the first problem. Second problem is that the kimono's overall shape seems to be more like hourglass, you know, like there's the pear, apple shape, hourglass shape. Yeah, so this is the hourglass, whereas traditional kimonos, you can see like photos on the screen of some women and men wearing them. They kind of give you a more like blocky shape. It kind of feels like a cylinder. So what I wrote in my script is the reason that the shape of the kimono traditionally is more like blocky and cylinder-like, I assume it's because there are very many layers to the kimono, and some layers can be pretty thick, like, you know, like a lot of cloth, like, you know, layered and folded. Specifically, the belt is called the obi belt. That's a kimono belt. You can see it here. It's usually a lot thicker. Problems 3 I found is that the way the kimono is separated at the bottom specifically seems to be a bit wrong, at least from my understanding. Kimonos should separate on the sides, depending if you're alive or not, again, also from my understanding. But specifically at the bottom of the kimono, even if I look at like photos of you know, women wearing them, they're at the bottom they separate far more to like the left side, and I don't think that Royal High really interpreted it really well because it's kind of in the middle. problem 4 is the color is like really wrong. I don't even like know where to begin with this color. So the way a kimono works from my research is that there is a layer called haneri. It's an undergarment. It tends to have it kind of like resembles the kimono you wear over it, but like not exactly. And you can't really see it under the kimono anywhere other than the chest area, the collars, I mean. And here you don't really have a haneri. So the way it works is that, first of all, there shouldn't be this collar that covers the neck itself. The collar should be a bit closer to the shoulders, and closer to the neck itself should be seen the white haneri layer. Well, white traditionally, sometimes they're, you know, different colors. And obviously it doesn't go up the way it does in the Royal High set, and it actually is quite low on the body. It kinda, I don't want to say that it looks heavy, but I think I lack words to describe it. Just look at the comparison I have on screen right now. Then point number 5, the sleeves feel cylinder and kind of flared. Now, traditional kimonos, they have more like square shaped sleeves. They genuinely don't like feel like flared and airy, you know, all that stuff. And this really does. It makes it feel like it's made from a really light fabric, which they're not. And now I'm not entirely sure here because of course I didn't speak to the artist directly, but I think that when they were researching kimonos, they might have accidentally seen a hanfu outfit, and they've seen you know, hanfu sleeves and thought that that's a kimono, because they do remind me of like the way hanfu looks a little bit. Now I may be wrong, but you know, that's just my impression. I also like think, you know, to support it is because there are Chinese hairpins, as I said, so maybe, you know, hanfu originated in China, of course, so maybe that's where the confusion might have come from. So that's all the inaccuracies I personally noticed. There might be more, I don't know. If you're Japanese or, you know, are more knowledgeable on the topic, please tell me. But yeah, so again, here's the Royal High kimono compared to a photo of 5 women wearing kimonos. Take a good look and, you know, come up with your own thoughts on the matter. Okay, so the kimono aside, let's get to point number 2, the body diversity issue in Royal High. So Royal High items are all the same body shape, minus maybe at most like the difference is height. The only plus size items, at least in my opinion, is the Shadow Empress set, Ugg boots, and the old Valentine's corset, which can't even be worn anymore. Now, okay, I say these items are plus size, but that's like, they're not modal, like, you know, stickman figures, right? Like, they're a bit chubbier than the rest. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying they're plus size, I'm just saying they're a bit bigger. Tiny bit bigger. But even the items I mentioned above, they have a really snatched waist, like, you know, no tummy, nothing. They just feel a bit thicker. So I'm not even sure if that's just the art style or if they're supposed to be plus size. So I do feel like, sure, body diversity shouldn't be forced, but for a game which proudly titles itself to be very progressive, includes a lot of progressive items, topics, and, you know, options and whatnot, adding diversity for the body type and clothes items would be, you know, very good and encouraged. I feel like, you know, it's kind of something you can expect from Royal High, with all the other things that they have been doing. So my girlfriend V, her tag is Velicious on Twitter. That's at VEELICIOUSSS_. pronouns she, her. She actually made a suggestion when we were discussing this topic. She said, why don't like the developers make toggles for already existing sets with like, you know, different body shapes. Now, although I definitely have to agree that like, you know, making like new toggles for sets can be really a difficult task because there's many sets and some of the developers actually no longer work on the project Royal High, for example Tsukimeki. I feel like although not all developers might be willing to rework the sets, the ones who are willing and are still working on it definitely should give it a go, because it would be like a really good change, a really positive change to the game. It would make a lot of like, you know, younger players maybe feel even more confident because they can see their body shape in the game, be a princess, a fairy, a knight, a mermaid, whatever. So I feel like it's something that definitely should be done and should be encouraged. Point number 2, find disabilities. Coming from my last point, another missed potential is the disability diversity. With also heels and arm toggles, surely we could have at least one option for people who want prosthetics in game. Also, with all the accessories we can sit on, for example reindeer and that alien like thingy, alien ship, I feel like a wheelchair is due. Like we can have a prosthetic heel or like a heel with a prosthetic toggle, and also a wheelchair that you can sit on. Okay, point number 3 is mermaid tails. Now, I know that mermaid tails were promised to come out with a new school, and I do know that the new school did come out, kind of, so where are the mermaid tails? Being a mermaid in Royal High used to be really fun, and I really miss these tails. They surely should bring them back in a more polished state. Also connected to my previous point, I feel like it would be super cool if, you know, some mermaids, maybe if you're like outside of water, the mermaid tail would also like be in a wheelchair shape, maybe a toggle, maybe automatically. And if you're inside the water with a mermaid tail, you would, you know, no wheelchair because you can swim. It would do a lot of world building for the whimsical world of Royal High, because it would kind of imply that like, oh, mermaids need a wheelchair, you know what? I just think it's a cool idea, but I don't know, that's just my idea. Point number 4, some items are very repetitive. Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of like crap for this, but like, look me into the eyes and tell me these two heels don't look similar or like don't follow the same idea. Like, look at them. What, like, okay, pretend that you don't know Royal High, right? You never played the game. And then you see these two heels, but you do know that there are toggles in games. Wouldn't you think that this is the same fucking item? Like, I'm sorry, they're just copy-paste of each other. And then these boots, like, okay, they're a bit more different, sure, but like, the idea is the same. It's like these bat heels, like not bat heels, bat wings on high platform boots, which have string on them. I don't know how it's called. Like, the only difference in the design is the socks, which you can put on the Batman heels if, you know, they're just gonna be high socks. Then look at these sleeves. I'm sorry, but they're the same fucking pattern. The only difference is the fucking fishnets. I'm so sorry, but they're the same. Then look at these skirts. They're again, same pattern. It's a 2-layer skirt, really roughly, a lot of things going on. There's a bow at front. It's the same fucking design, just different font. Sure, all these items have slight differences here and there, but the point is these items, like, they still look really similar, and the items we usually get are really repetitive instead of like giving us something new, something that we entirely didn't have before. It kind of makes you know, waiting for sets less exciting because it really feels as if we're getting alternatives instead of new sets. And like, I mean, sure, some sets can be like really unique. For example, Goddess of Triumph, Whimsy, Witch, and December's Dream. But point stands that most skirts are either filled with ruffles and layers, and most tops are either too many bows or too many fishnets and spikes, like, you know. So it's really not a lot of new, fresh concepts. Okay, now point number 5. Please, 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 I'm on my knees. Can we have more legs that are mega long? This is a very self-indulgent like point, but I really like feeling really tall on Royal High. It's kind of like an aesthetic, if you may. I know that there's a standard height Royal High heels must follow, at least from my understanding, because medium height heels do seem to work better in the game rather than taller heels. But I feel like this doesn't really warrant not making tall heels at all anymore. I feel like the only tall heel options nowadays is Fluttering Butterfly and Gothic Cutie. And in the case of Fluttering Butterfly in particular, I see a lot of people hating them, saying that they're ugly and whatnot, but I don't know what to say. I feel like people who say that they're just like wrong. Sure, they're just basic heels with ribbons, but it's the art style in particular which makes them unique. Same goes for Gothic Cutie, of course. It's the really long, thin legs I like, because they give kind of like they just give a really unusual vibe compared to all the other heels, and that's why I really like them. Again, this goes back to body diversity. Here we have like really long, really thin, tall heels. That's a body shape some people have, and we only have 2 options. Why can't we have more? Point number 6, boy hairstyles. I need this to be a separate point from boy items in general, because this also does partially touch on representation of black men in Royal Highs. That's why I'm making this a separate point. But I feel like every time a new hair pack releases for boys, it's always like, oh, hello, straight hair, male, medium cut, fluffy bangs, number 5,342. It's nice to meet you. Jokes aside, I just wish we'd have more unique boys' hairs. We do get a bit more unique with it lately, but I feel like it's just not enough. Also, it's mostly just like slightly restyled girl hairs, at least from my perspective. Also, I find it kind of weird that we only have like 5 black hair boy options. 5, maybe 6, I forgot. But, so many just straight hair options. And when I say that we have 5 black hair boy options, they're like really coily hairs. What about, I don't know, boys who are just like curly haired? What about boys who like maybe have more wavy hair than straight? It's either like really spiky and straight, or like slightly wavy like K-pop idol kind of hairs. And I feel like it gets a bit tiring when it's all that you see. Like, I feel like we need more boy hairstyles which have braids, maybe some like elf hairs, like long flowing hair, maybe man buns, shaved sized man buns, curly hair in general, ponytails, low ponytails. The possibilities are endless, and we just get like a really similar style. It's sad. Sad is what I'm saying. Point number 7 is wings. I feel like wings are kind of forgotten about until recently, with the new school giving free wings. I feel like it's really sad considering it was a very fun part of the game. It really finishes outfits. I also remember that there used to be competitions for wings where fans would submit their wing creations and they might be added to the game. I feel like such competitions can be held with proper compensation, of course, to the artists, with a reward, maybe something like that. So yeah, wings, definitely something we need more of. Point number 8, I feel really bad for like modest women and modest men playing this game. I think that most of the outfits are very revealing. I just feel like, you know, if you're, for example, a Muslim woman and you're playing this game and you want to wear something, we do have a hijab, right? So we do have a hijab outfit. So you maybe want to make a hijabi outfit. You would need your hands covered, your shoulders covered, your torso covered, only a bit of the neck showing. You'd need your legs covered with leggings, a long skirt which isn't too skin tight, and it feels like such a basic requirement. Like, it's literally just a modest outfit, but all of the Royal High items, they either have the shoulders open, the shoulders are see-through, the arms are see-through, like the arm, like the cloth that goes around the arms, not the arms themselves. Then the neck will be like a really low cut for it, stuff like that. The only modest item which I can think from the top of my head right now would be the December Dream sleeves, the December Dream bodice. What else? I mean, of course, some of the skirts, obviously a lot of the skirts are puffy and fluffy. Of course, there are the December Dream legs. Oh, kind of, now that I think about it, the December Dream set is really, modesty friendly. Maybe... Oh, Bantmo heels? And... Is that it? Wait, is that it, though? I don't want to say that this is it, because I feel like I'm missing something, but it really does feel like that's all that we have, which doesn't, directly open the body parts I just mentioned. Yeah, I did forget 2 sets actually. It's the Mon Cherry Tea Party set. It has a really big lot of coverage. Also, the legs have tights, so that's really lovely. As well as Spring Cherry Blossom. However, I mean, come on, Spring Cherry Blossom, again, it's a really beautiful set, but it's a bit... it's beautiful, it's just really inaccurate to the Japanese culture, as I just said, so would you really want to wear it and own it? I mean, okay, it counts, so that's that. Yeah. A couple minutes ago. So, yeah, really missed opportunity, really sad. Again, goes back to the point, for a game which is obviously really progressive. Kinda sad. Point number 9, my girlfriend also brought this one up. The wheel items are outdated. Sure, some of them got reworks, but a lot of them fit, as my girlfriend said, it's a Roblox shape which Royal High is trying to step away from, end quote. And I agree so much. Most the items, they're kind of just useless if you're more into realistic items. So I think there's 60 items in total from the wheel. And the ones that I personally think are quite, I won't say useless, but they're really hard to use would be Ruffly sleeves, Princess Poofy sleeves, Magical Flower, Rainbow Unicorn Horn, Powerful Love Brooch, even Seashell Top is hard to use, Trident, Neon Saber, Star Scepter, Mermaid Scepter, Ice Queen Crown. Okay, I'm not sure about Ice Queen Crown, but I definitely don't use it personally, so, and I don't see other people using it, so I don't know. Pirate Hat, Affluent Aristocrat, Hook Hand, Double Flintlocks, Candle, Cane. Cane, I feel like this one is specifically hard to use because although this is a great accessory, it's just so short, so you can't even use it if you're wearing heels. Peg leg. Okay, same thing. Now about the cane and peg leg, I feel like they can potentially be disability items if only they got a rework. For example, the peg leg can have a toggle which can be an actual prosthetic, or vice versa. It can be made a prosthetic leg which has a peg leg option. And the cane can also have different height options, so you can choose it, which also affects the animation of your character and makes them actually rely on the cane. Really lovely disability. Punk bracelets don't fit any of the realistic arms other than Zero Dolly. And yeah, that's it. So all of these items really hard to use. Definitely need a rework in my opinion, or at least like can we have another wave of accessories which is more up to date. Point number 9, not enough male oriented items. I won't go on a ramble as to why it's annoying and stupid to go, actually it's a girls game because we as a society moved far past that already. So let me cut to the chase. We should have more masculine sets or items. Like my girlfriend said, we need boy sets which can have toggles to girl sets if girls want to wear it. What if I want to be a night girl? And I definitely agree. We can have a lot of different boy sets, like a prince set, a night set. My imagination is kind of like sucky right now, but I'm sure that there are many ideas which can be used and utilized, which also these sets would be targeted towards boys. They could have toggles towards girl bodies, and that would just be a great thing again for a progressive game, yada yada. And it would also fix the repetitive set issue. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. If you have any ideas about what I should discuss, please leave them below. And yeah, thank you. Bye bye. Mwah.